Right. Why? Because we're klutzes. Remember, we handle this guitar a whole lot, and every time, if we had to polish that finish or sand that top, we want to have the finish all done before we cut it out. So we cut it out at the end, and it's really the only reason. Because if every time we sanded or dealt with that top, we bump into those F-holes, we cause problems. So we just put it off to the end. And mandolin makers here know what I'm talking about. So originally I was going to route them out on a router, but I ended up lasering them out and burning mandolins to death. What? Huh? Do I what now? It's all what you're used to doing. It doesn't matter in or out. No, it's done. No, because it's the wood itself and how it feels. Yeah, no matter. Right. Okay.
So a lot of people swear by your varnish finish.
Okay.
And then there's some others that are worried about long-term.
Long-term varnish has been around a long time, especially oil varnish. I think it's 1400s when they started.
Pretty good. The jury's still out.
Yeah, but linseed oil it won't go anywhere. What was it? Sound better? You say?
A lot of people swear by the sound, but then the other side would say the long-term durability, scratches.
Yeah, durability. I wouldn't really concern myself with, because in an expensive instrument, you're not going to leave it out in the sun. You're not going to do the stuff that might cause problems. If someone can ding a top, I used to get people calls says, my other guitar doesn't get dings in the top when I touch it. I said, well, what are you touching it with? My pick. Well, why? What's your other guitar? It's an Alvarez. Okay, well, they put a 16th inch of finish on that guitar, and it's going to protect it. Okay, we're not protecting our guitars. They're a slight protection to a good instrument. A good violin, it's a thin finish. A good guitar finish, it's 2 to 3 mils. A good lacquer finish is 6 mils. Okay, so they're thin finishes. If someone thinks that won't be durable, they shouldn't buy it. I mean, it's just fine. Move on to the next one. But it will. It will last. It'll outlast any of us by far. And as far as sound, I was one of the last holdouts to varnish. In other words, there's a lot of mandolin people that say, "Oh, you need to varnish these things. These are the best." I went, you don't know. I know. But I always was under the assumption that it didn't much matter what it was as long as it was thin and put on properly. But Charlie Darrington, who was from Gibson and quite knowledgeable on mandolins, he kept telling me, you got to try it. And I don't know why he wanted me to try it. We were competitors. But I said, well, he's, trying to pump himself up. But I did try it. And the first one I did, I was amazed at the difference in the sound. I said, something's wrong here. So I did another one right away. And it was a different sound. It was different than the lacquer. And I called him up and I said, you're so right. And I apologize for being an ass. And, and thank you very much. I mean, it was quite a learning experience. And then you wonder why. And then you go through this long rabbit hole of what varnishes to use and why and all this. And I went on down the old technology trail to see what all these things were. And linseed oil based, if it would be whatever, and all this kind of stuff. But for our mandolins, we chose an old violin formula that was simply linseed oil and amber, boiled at 350 degrees. And it's been a basic violin varnish for years. 150 or 200 years, and then they make different types of that. They make a ground that is harder, and then they work it up so it gets a little softer on the top. But varnish is great, but it's not for everybody, you know. We couldn't do it on everybody's instrument anyhow, you know. But it's not. How does it sound? It sounds like it's a more elastic finish that allows different subtleties probably to come through, and those would be different ranges of overtones. Okay, and it's. I don't drink wine, but it's probably like wine. You got to learn about it. Sometimes we could have a lacquer instrument and a varnish instrument. It's not to say this varnish one's going to be better than this lacquer, but it's going to be different and have different qualities to it. There's no question about it. Can I say it's better? You know, a good lacquer guitar is so good. When you get into really good to great guitars, this doesn't much matter. You're in this little slur, you know, that we wanted to get here. Well, I spent 40 years wondering what that was. What's this good guitar? What are these others? These are note counts, also rans, and these are the winners, you know, and they always will be, you know. So, you agree? Yeah, I mean, certain instruments are always going to be there, you know. So what we want to make is every one of ours is going to be really in this little range. So whether it be varnish, that's just a different, you know, hairdo that day, or, you know. But it's been very popular. I think we're the first to start putting it out. I made one for Kimball 4 years ago. Yeah. And he complained about the neck getting sticky, and I said, shut up and play the guitar. You know. And finally, you know, he put his magic potion on it and fixed it. And it was all great after that. But you know, that's the best I can say. It's not black and white.
The people who are skeptical don't own them. The people who love them are the ones.
Listen, if skeptics are great. I'm fine. There's no way we could do that many. It's like hide glue. There's no way. I don't charge but $100 for hide glue. It's not a big deal. But if I had to do it for every guitar on the planet, I couldn't do it. I mean, I'd be broke because someone would do it wrong, you know, and all this. Is it everything to the guitar? No, it's something, and it's fun. Have a ball. Do it. You know, it's Brazilian. We don't sell Brazilian, okay? Because it doesn't. If we have to sell it to you, you shouldn't buy it. It's not for you, okay? It's for the guy who really needs it. And he might need it because he heard about it. He might need it because he, you know, all his great D28s have. Who knows why? But it's one of those things that you just, you know, say you don't know what sound is or what really is this good guitar. Well, you want to get all the bells and whistles. I did that on my first guitar. It sucked. Okay, it was Brazilian. It was the best of Guild. Oh boy, it was the best of Gibson and the best of Martin. Okay, it's not that. It's all this other stuff. You know, who put it together? It's not that song that Pete plays. It's Pete playing that song.